Hey everybody, welcome back. BogMod here. Oh, look at this screen. Oh, car. Just like his good old car magazine. Good old car brand magazine. Anyways, I am BogMod. We are playing more Trails through Daybreak 2. We just beat the main plot. There's a little New Game Plus stuff to do. Let's continue. No, that's not it. That'll be New Game Plus. So, but I wanted to talk about... yes? I think it's... Yes, access the marking card. I do want to talk a little bit about some of my thoughts. First of all, of course, the main one. The biggest one, perhaps. Is that, of course, this is a, hello. Higher, up to 50% more. Ooh.
Shifting to maintenance mode. Shard skills updated.
Yeah, so...
Modifying your orbment, are you?
I didn't want to do it that way, did I? No.
Shard skills updated. Skills updated. Better check them out.
So yeah, first of all, main thought,
I'll take over.
this is a new little opening, though. What do we got?
Bet we can rest there. Whew, that hits the spot.
Fishing simulator. I don't need that. Let's see our first main thought. So there should be some new floors. First, the game ends up being in a weird place because ultimately, it's a filler episode, right? As they kind of mentioned.
They've got to be yanking our chains at this point. I mean, seriously, you're telling me the Marian Garten situation still hasn't been fixed?
Apparently so. What's more, the actual cause has yet to be identified.
Wait, really? The Garden Master, that is the spirit of the philosopher Auguste, was the one who took over the Garten in the first place. Now that the 8th Genesis's influence is gone, the hacking should have stopped with it.
Yeah. Pretty bizarre that these strange goings-on are still, well, going on.
Right. As for why we were asked to gather today, it would seem they wish to share what has been confirmed thus far.
I figured this wasn't just a casual hangout.
We're near the appointed time. Marduk's representative should be along to brief us shortly.
Well, I'm Mirabelle.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, connection stable. Oh, you guys are already here.
Good day to you, Mirabelle.
Sorry for the rush, but would you mind telling us what this is about?
For sure. See, after that last big shebang, we were able to regain control over most of our systems. But there's still a few domains we can't access no matter how hard we try. Bummer, right? It's been a total head-scratcher, so we asked Lapis to run some analytics for us.
Wait, you mean LP was in on this the whole time? What can I say? It sounded fun. Well, that. And Mirabelle offered to send me some of Orid's finest confections as compensation.
Oh, you're as bad as bad.
Guess her bottomless appetite is hollow-compatible.
That's fair enough. Did you manage to figure anything out, though?
Yes. After parsing the data, Mirabelle and I came to 2 conclusions.
Only digital violence will solve this
The
hacking
first
issue.
is that there's no longer any hacking being done outside the network. And the other, is that there's an unknown data construct located somewhere within the virtual domain.
An unknown data construct? I'm not sure I follow entirely. But do you suppose that might be the root of these anomalies?
Yep, that's pretty much the idea. Couldn't tell you what we're dealing with, but it's definitely the reason our systems are on the fritz.
Oh, yeah?
So it's powerful enough to send even Marduk's technology awry. That doesn't bode well from any angle.
Perhaps it's something Auguste planted when he hacked his way into the Merhien Garten. Whatever it is may have remained behind after the fact.
And now it's causing trouble for us, huh? This business doesn't seem all that urgent, as far as I can tell. But I ain't a fan of leaving loose ends untied either. So sure, we'll give it some looking into.
Right. Everyone's here already, so we may as well.
No reason all of us can't work together to get this off our to-do list.
Yeah.
It's too late in the game to flake out, so fine. Me and S can pitch in. For a price.
Would you quit trying to shake them down?
Here we go.
Girls gotta make
More the
money
merrier,
somehow.
I guess.
Then I'm sure you won't mind a few +1s.
Oh?
They'd better not. We want in on this too.
Ooh, is Risha, Zin, and Fee gonna join? Oh, just the two.
Fee! Jin! Why are you here?
Fee Clausel.
Sup, guys? This virtual stuff is pretty convincing. Really lives up to the hype. I just happened to be in Calvert anyway, so I figured I'd chip in a little.
Yeah, you were at the event.
Lane actually gave us a light recap on what you've been up to. I've been looking for an opportunity to make up for that whole coup d'etat mess, too.
Again, I really don't hold you accountable for that
Chance to
one,
put
buddy.
me to work. Lucky you, eh?
So basically, you were enlisted.
That's right. It's in the Guild's best interest to put this issue to bed before it gets out of hand.
Works for me. We'll take all the help we can find. And we can't ask for better firepower than the immovable and Sylphid. Glad to have you aboard.
Alright.
Looks like some new floors have opened up, by the way. Get out there and kick some butt, okay?
Okay. Okay. Try Mr. Cube analysis. Floor 10 added. New products. Ooh.
Want a place to chill? Then
What do we
look
got?
no further. Let me know if you need anything, okay?
It's a significant defense boost, honestly. That's for everyone. This is the men-only option. Here we go, Valiant coats. Silver dresses. Looks like the Valiant coat's kind of the one I want for most of these people. Oh, there we go. Speed plus 24. Sorry, where was I? Right, I was talking about... so yeah, this is kind of like a filler episode. It didn't really... Like, the first game didn't really feed into this so much. Yeah, one Genesis was missing. Am I out of money? I am out of money. I am not out of money. Yeah, one Genesis was missing still. This is true. But, like, raising the dead, the weird villains from the first game, Dante's and all them. What happened to Dingo? Like, nothing about what happened to Dingo was in any way really hinted about. Alright? He got nuked. He took a nuke to the face and was exploded. And while I did joke that, hey, with how his camera was saved and all that, maybe he's not dead. Not really what happened. He did die. Had a weird AI convergence for reasons. It didn't really work. Consider, for example, how Cold Steel 1 led into events of Cold Steel 2, and how Sky 1 went into Sky 2. Even the quote-unquote big bad. Yeah, the big bad, what's his name? The philosopher guy. I'm not even going to bother looking up his name. He was that kind of disconnected from the events. That's like, I don't care. I know nothing about him.
Right. Look sharp,
he was a
people.
philosopher. He was upset about... He went evil for reasons. Don't know why.
Watch out, I spot enemies. This'll make for a good warm-up.
Don't forget about your target attack.
Take this gun.
There are so many of them. Look out! Give them your boost gauge limiter unlocked.
Yeah, we really don't know what his grand view of the world was going to be. Hey, frogs.
My, what a crowd!
Commencing battle. Proceed with caution. There are so many of them. Look out!
You got this.
Give them your boost gauge limiter unlocked. Give them your all.
Now we're talking. Engaging skill. That's it.
Yeah.
Ren, if you would.
I can't see him at all mattering in any way going forward. He'll have no real impact like, say, Osborn or the others did. He's kind of a non-entity in that sense, which is weird.
Ooh, now they'd make for a fun fight. Watch out, I spot enemies.
Get your engagement. Brace yourself.
Gotcha.
Take your time here.
So many of them. Look out!
You got this.
Give them your boost gauge limiter. Give them your all.
Too slow.
You're up, Fred.
We'll win.
Yeah, so
Activating skills. Sucker.
You're next, Kizuna.
very filler in that regard in terms of our big bad and what the first game contributed to this and all that sort of stuff.
You're up, Fred.
You can't best me.
Activating skills.
He will be
You're next, engaging skill.
he'll be forgotten.
Activating skill.
You're up. Activating skills.
The time jumps. Let's talk about that for a bit. Interesting concept. Now, I have voiced before my opinion about not being a huge fan of death is cheap type stuff, but I think this one worked because it was a plot point. Right? It was a vehicle for the plot, rather than them just refusing to ever make anything dangerous
I'll get stronger.
or put people in danger or actually pull the trigger and kill anyone, all that sort of stuff. So I'm okay with that. How everyone lived became the puzzle rather than being like it just being the game refusing to have anyone be in danger.
Let's begin, shall we? Show them what you're really capable of.
Take this.
Looks like the gang's all here.
There are so many of them. Look out!
We're talking.
Boost gauge
Count,
upgraded.
Dan.
Activating skill.
Huh? You picked the wrong guy to fight.
You nailed it, Van.
Lantern launched.
Huh. Weird.
Watch out for ranged attacks. Begin engagement. Brace yourself.
We'll put an end to this.
Show 'em what you're really capable of.
Oops. Oh, that's fine.
Boost gauge upgraded.
The more experience I gain, the more capable I'll become.
Yeah, so I was okay with the timey-wimey. Worked out fine for me.
Looks like the gang's all here.
Take this! Let's finish the job!
Look out! Use a sharp piece to get the activate. Boost gauge limiter unlocked. Full boost. Go attack their weakness. Activate shield.
What was I to say?
Sharp boost.
I think near the end there was some, as they start to explore the rewrite aspect, there were some interesting questions to be had about determinism, free will, in like a real way, not just like the questions of free will when you're like, well, what if I put a magical curse on people that makes them evil? I don't know. More interesting question about, all right, well, what if your past was slightly different? How does that impact everything?
My, what a crowd.
How does that change who we are, and that sort of thing?
You're down now. Deploy charge. You're up against a large group. You're next. Engage.
Pop.
Boost gauge upgraded.
Give us your all.
Dice you up! You're up, friend! Activating skill.
Forgive me, but you weren't invited.
As it shows, we are the product of our pasts and not independent of them.
Now we're talking. Focus on
But not being in a simplistic, like, well, if I was bad in my past, I must be bad in the future.
Now we're talking.
Really, like,
Too slow.
no, it's not overcoming your past so much as your past is the drive for who you are in the present,
That went great.
You nailed it,
and
man.
that can be.
Watch it. That one's big.
My, what a crowd.
Why didn't I get credit for the other guys?
Show 'em what you're really capable of. Cancel deploy sharp. Look out!
Show me what you got!
Boost gauge
Count,
upgraded.
man.
Activate.
Don't stop now, Elaine! Activating
I'll be quick.
Yeah, like even the people who decide to try, they want to change who they are. Take Randy for example, right? He hadn't invented his past, and that was the driver for his change. So it's still definitely like your past it determines who you are, but not just like, but not in a simplistic, basic kind of way.
It's over, you're caught!
They're not. Oh, there we go. Neat. Just take a bunch of Sepith, I suppose.
Onwards and upwards. I'll reach even greater heights.
Nice.
Oh, well. What a nice little
I will
chest.
always strive to better myself.
Double skill stones, even better.
This will make for a good warm-up.
Show 'em what you're really capable of.
The only maybe minor thing I would have maybe an issue with the way they approached the time loops is past a certain point.
On.
They didn't need to be shocked anymore by
Watch out. I spot enemies.
how by like, you know, when people started to act against them and all that, when they turned on them, you know, they kept acting. Maybe it was just how the writing came across to me. But a lot of it felt like they were somehow genuinely, like, treating it like these betrayals were somehow some sort of free-willed, intentional plan on their part, rather than understanding, I don't know, you know they've had a weird timey-wimey thing going on in the brain.
They should make for an
It's not that they've
opponent.
decided to do this somehow intentionally. But that could have just been a little bit of a I guess a writing.
Yep. This looks like the end of that section.
So I'm not huge.
It's a new area.
Ultimately, I guess that's a very minor. Hold on a second. Did I not have someone equipped with? Oh. The 500.
Understood. Providing support.
There we go.
Looks like the gang's all here.
Treasure.
Watch out for ranged attacks.
Treasure 3. The new twins. I guess let's talk about the new actual meaningful antagonists, which is the twins. Will definitely be making another appearance. They're an interesting addition, right? Not in the child assassin angle. We've seen that happen plenty of times. But more in the sense of, for instance, Ix. They actually gave him an on-screen kill, like a full-on, flat-out. He murdered a dude. There. Which they do not usually do for skill stones. They do not usually do this for excuse me. Our child assassins. They give them all their violence off screen. Consider, for example, Ren, our resident angel of slaughter. Presumably,
What a nice
she did a whole lot of killing off screen. We don't get to see it, right? Nina Fenley. We don't see her on screen ordering murders. So in Nadia, all their killing done off screen. Joshua, off screen. Risha, off screen. All their assassin, cold-blooded murder stuff off screen, thus maintaining their goodness to avoid the issue of working with them, right? So these two, on the other hand, got at least one on-screen, full on-screen murder, and they're clearly, you know what? We like it. It is good and fun, which is actually kind of different to how Ouroboros has been being presented in a lot of this.
Looks
like, Wiseman was full all in on being a horrible, evil, jerky jerk, right?
Keeps going from here.
But, compare him to, say, the Steel Maiden. Could we really have seen her being okay with that sort of thing? I mean, even Harwood, comparatively, rather minor.
Watch out for ranged attacks.
He's creepy. Didn't really.
My, what a crowd.
His evil
looks like a chest.
Is mostly kind of establishing him, and then some undid stuff. Which, to be fair, he did warn everyone around. He decided to try and push him anyways. It's very different. Not sure where they're going to go with them. I feel like giving them their open lust for murder and the on-screen killing that they've done kind of precludes them from having a a become good arc. I don't know if that was what they plan to go for them anyways.
For a good one. Don't forget about your charge attack.
It's just kind of a amusing, a consideration, a pondering.
Ooh, now they'd make for a fun fight.
Eat this.
Oops. No.
Eat this.
There we are. And I guess I might as well kill these guys.
Yep. This looks like the end of that section.
It's time.
Yeah, very different. I'm curious to kind of see what their angle is going to be with them going forward.
Got your number. Activating skill.
Which kind of makes me think this might be a little bit of how the games want to have their cake and eat it too, as it were.
Look out, use a sharp.
All right. So, for example, Dingo. Let's talk about him briefly. On the one hand, he was definitely super exploded. Everyone thought he was dead. And in fact, he was. And people even made comments about how,
Goodies for the taking.
you know, he wasn't the real Dingo, that sort of thing. But at the same time, right? Oops, that's not what I wanted.
Look out, use a sharp.
But you know what? But at the same time, like with Miriel and that sort of thing,
Engaging skill.
Too slow. Show them your
there was definitely some like, oh no, he is a digital duplicate because of weird shenanigans, and his soul is in the afterlife. But we can definitely pretend like this is just as real as the original would have been if he were alive to say all these things.
This feels pretty great. You may be strong, Yuna, but I won't lose to you.
I think also there are some interesting unexplored elements to what they did with that sort of thing about identity and realness and who we are, like that weren't really explored. I mean, so was he fully conscious and aware, or was he a program winning and no more aware of the situation and reality than, say, well, the characters I'm playing in the game are? All right, with just following out a programmed response. How would we have treated things differently? Because none of these duplicates end up having to stick around, right? You know, they may be you know, a full-on clone, as it were, but they're neatly moved off screen afterwards, so there's no long-term version of them. Certainly no duplicates, two of a single person going around that we have to contend with. This also kind of feels like they kind of done this with the assassins, where they want their badass backstory of them being horrible murderers, but at the same time, they want them to be acceptable and okay to us. Same with Maxim, kind of a very similar boat. Let's use Ren for example, right? In the Sky games, there was an early moment where she has some robot duplicates of her parents, and then she smashes them in her big dramatic reveal, and you get a momentary think, she killed people! But then it's just robots. Now, on the other hand, what if those had been actual people she had threatened into pretending to be her parents? and then she killed them. That would entirely change... While it wouldn't change her character, in terms of what we know has been established about who she is, it would drastically change how we as the players perceive them, and our view about Estelle's plan to just be like, no, she's a good little bean, and I'm gonna love her and save her and make her my sibling. Maxim, similar boat. As we saw that bit with him liking the sex scenes. They want him to simultaneously be this lecherous pervert who slept his way across the countryside, hasn't learned his lesson, yada yada yada. But at the same time, he's actually a guy who's totally learned his lesson. He has spent years trying to find his one true love, super committed to them, etc, etc, etc. Nina, another example of that kind of off-screen thing. She gets revealed, oh, she's in charge of the Pope's murder squad. Okay, how do we feel about that? Since she's an on-screen killer of people. It's a little weird. Or an off-screen killer of people. Because we don't have to see her being like, I need you to kill Elaine's father. That is your job. We don't have to deal with that sort of thing. And then, of course, I think their biggest example of where they have their both angles is at the highest level when it talks about human darkness and weakness. The line about Dingo about human sin, where he's like, oh, just feed someone a little story and they'll do change. No. Story game. It's not just that. Using the idea that if you rewrite someone's memory so they have a different personality and context for situations, and that they will act differently because of that, as some sort of great sign of human evil, shove it. No. I'm not accepting that for a second. It's as dumb as in Cold Steel 4, where they talk about how the curse really doesn't do anything. It's all about that inherent human darkness. Yet at the very start of the game, we see people being very worried, concerned about the war, yada yada. A wave of evil washes over them, and they instantly switch. They're full-on patriots. No, we gotta kill everyone. Do everything we can for rah war. Save the country. They're now no longer scared about anything. It's a complete personality wipe and swap. The game wants it both ways. You can't have it both ways. You gotta pick one. You gotta pick a lane. That said, I did like a lot of the character moments. Not a lot of growth per se. This was, after all, kind of a filler episode. But it was nice to see some of that prior growth we had seen in earlier games show up here. Like, for example, Van, I think, was definitely dumb, sneaking out how he did to go confront Dingo on his own. That was dumb of him. In game, it was he was like, no, I'm not trying to be suicidal and all that. I did plan to come. It was bad tactics and dumb of him, but it wasn't in the same context of how he was acting before. So that's good. Rosette's little childhood bit was amazing. That was a great little character piece for her, for example. I love Shizuna. She's a fun little character for me. I really quite like her. Though I can understand why some people would not in her case. I think one of the parts that I didn't like character-wise was the fairy stuff. Now, I understand, we have to try and be a little understanding of the in-game culture elements. But there was really a whole lot of basically like, Fairy, you're 14 years old. Like, this is coming from her, like, her dad and her brother. Where they're like, Fairy, you're 14 years old. Why haven't you figured out your entire life path yet? When they're going on about the kind of flame she'll be. It's like, dude, she's 14. Maybe in game she's considered now an adult in their culture. But I can't entirely divorce myself from my own and just my understanding that no, even if your culture treats someone at 14 as an adult, they do not have their life figured out yet. Gassim seemed to be poorly executed and used. Overall, though, I'd say it was enjoyable, but one of the weaker in this series. Much like Reverie, it doesn't really advance the plot, and it basically just serves as a vehicle for a few fun moments and to introduce a few new characters. Not a bad game with how the writing and plot arcs went. I would say Cold Steel 3 and 4 we're kind of the worse for that. Very middle of the road. It is, as the game itself literally put it, a status quo game. And those are kind of my main thoughts there. If you have your own thoughts about it, of course, do share them down below. I'm always keen to see what people have to say. But for now, I'm going to take a little break. It shouldn't take too long to get through all the stages. And then, yeah, there's a little bit after we do the final floor 16, I believe. And that'll bring our little gameplay to an end. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a good night.